So this is the trophy that I got as the winner for Mr. Gay India 2019. And these are some of the other trophies that I won as part of the competition for the Sports Challenge, People Choice Award, and which is the other one? Sorry. The Social Media Campaign Award. As I was growing up, the society and the people around me started stereotyping me.
I really appreciated this film. It was a difficult watch to hear some of these stories of abuse and discrimination for just being in your own body and just for being yourself and acting in ways that feel true to respecting yourself. Um, and just seeing how it is a crime to be in certain bodies in the world, that some people are justified in being victims in this world. And the crux of this was law, and law being such an important tool in targeting and addressing this violence against LGBTQ plus, against women and girls. And the stats provided were shocking. Um, Seeing that law is at the heart of this, stemming from colonial constructs that are permitted by so many cultures that are still remnants left behind. Um, I think a great way to combat these and is bringing light to some of these stories by the bravery and honesty of these subjects sharing their stories of sexual exploitation. Um, I think it was really powerful to see them defending their rights to love, their right to exist, and throughout, I really appreciate these lovely images of these places and these portraits of these individuals to vividly immerse myself as a viewer in their world, in their land, and in their culture. To try to understand from an anthropological point of view, but ultimately it's just about humanity sticking together.
This is about knowing how we can do better. This dives into the international global issues this community faces, love and let live. This dives into hate crimes, activism, legislation acts, being protected by the law, redefining the victim to a survivor, becoming a true citizen. This community is marginalized in over 70 countries through religious laws or colonial laws that give out discrimination, incarcerate people, or even give the death penalty simply by being who they are. Some of these laws were created and existed in Victorian times. And then they also switch and dive into women's issues. They dive into the facts about how 35% of women globally face sexual assault and how in most countries it's even legal for a husband to rape his wife. This is about uh, fighting fighting violence against women and the LGBTQ community on a global front, seeking out justice, even when the police doesn't assist us. How in some cultures they will disown the woman due to the sexual violence that occurred to them. You get to see the perspectives from women all over the world. It's powerful to see these people have courage to speak up and tell their story. These shots, or how they were presented on camera, in a sense, hides these women, only creating an intimate experience for us listening in. You grab a good collective of cultural perspectives in both the crimes against the LGBTQ community and women. We are in a transformative era for our rights and acts of justice, despite the challenges and difficulties in creating a better place for our future.
It legitimately went all around the world and talked to so many different people who are trying to make a change in the lives of LGBTQ people. Um, they had people from Belize, India, Kenya, all sharing their stories and what they're doing to make a difference here. I appreciated that they really highlighted the fact or the importance of changing laws in order to change society, because so many of these homophobic laws that exist in the world really enable violence towards the LGBTQ community. And I thought it was really disheartening just hearing them, people in this documentary, talking about how when people come out as gay or transgender or anything in that LGBTQ spectrum, that they have a near certainty of suffering violence, and that's incredibly horrific to hear. Sort of guaranteeing yourself violence when coming out in this world. Um, but I thought this documentary was really important to show how essential it is to change these laws and to protest against these laws. Overall, I thought it was a beautifully shot film. They had some really cool drone shots of all their locations. And just hearing from opposite sides of the world, I thought that the fact that they got to interview all of these different people from all these different places was really cool to see and hear from, how similar these struggles are, and then how um, easy and pain-free in some cases it was to change these laws. Obviously, it's not true for all these places, but how just stepping up and attempting to change these laws can make a huge difference was really cool to see. And it was great to see them succeed as well.
I learned about the Human Dignity Trust, which I had no awareness of, and I think it's great. And, anytime we can call attention to the good that lawyers do in the world, it's a plus, I'm sure. So that was really informative for me. And aside from that, it's important that we hear the real life stories to sort of to humanize the issue, and this documentary does that really well. Then also peppering in stats and facts, all in a really strong effort to present the mission, which it does really well, and that's to create this legislation, and this kind of legislation is really important. So to that extent, I'm glad this documentary exists, just to help spread awareness for that. I mean, it's unfortunate that it needs to at all, but I applaud everyone involved for their part and for their fortitude in dealing with what should be a basic human right. I found it wild to learn that there's still some 70 or 70 plus countries that outlaw same-sex relations. So there's clearly plenty of work still to do. And this documentary just feels like another great step to that end.
I think it's wonderful that there are so many people working for human rights in different parts of the world. We always don't think in the Western world that there are still countries that they criminalize being gay. We get quite complacent in our world. So it's great that there are people that will fight for it. Because it's hard to imagine countries where a husband raping his wife is still not a crime, where they had to fight to get a woman's suspect arrested because he raped her with an object. These are things that we often don't think about, and documentaries such as A Better Place make you think about it and realize that there's still more to do. There's more for fighting for women's rights, for LGBTQ rights, for all of it, because there are still places that aren't as open and free.
I think it sheds light on a really important topic in a really compelling and interesting way. And it's a great documentary to watch to learn more if you're passionate or even just curious about human rights and how laws can help support that around the world.